Blackstone and Urban Audiobooks present The Reluctant King by Quan. This book is read by Matthew J. Harris. Prologue. When Freddie rounded the corner of 138th, a gust of wind hit him in the chest, pushing his thin frame slightly left. He pulled his jacket tight around his neck, but it didn't do much good considering he was wearing a spring jacket, despite it being early winter. Bitter winds scorched his skin, but Freddie ignored the frostbite that was trying to set in and instead focused on the small parcel in his pocket. He had less than a block to go, and the sooner he made it, the better. It had been 4 hours since Freddie's last fix, and he was starting to feel that itch on his back. He absently stroked the parcel in his pocket, making sure that it hadn't escaped during his walk from the drug spot. Freddie promised himself that it would be his last time, the same weak promise he had made a dozen times over the last few months, which always came right before he was about to blast off. In his heart, he always meant it. But once he was in the thralls of heroin, neither his word nor his integrity meant much any longer. Freddie had once been a promising young hustler, with heavy ties to the criminal underworld. On the road to doing big things, he'd somehow lost his way. It started out as a recreational thing, the occasional sprinkle of coke in his blunt to give it an extra kick. He soon graduated to snorting and formed a real love for cocaine. It allowed him to stay awake and party for days on end, last longer in bed, and threw his dick like a porn star. For him, cocaine was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he fell even more in love when he learned you could get a better blast if you cooked it. The standard coke high made him feel like a superhero, but crack made him a god. In just 6 months he had managed to smoke up his jewelry, his car, and his self-respect. Crack had turned him into such a greaseball that no one would touch him with a 10-foot pole, not his street family, nor his biological one. Word was out that he was bad news. Only a select few still had enough compassion in their hearts to risk throwing Freddie the occasional bone. But after he recently double-crossed one of them, he knew he'd soon have no one. Freddie wanted to feel bad about betraying one of the last people on Earth still willing to look out for him. But he was an addict, and addicts were without shame. As Freddie walked down the block toward Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard, he couldn't help but notice how empty the streets were. The bad weather had sent most people indoors, but 138th was a...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?